Hello there. Wow, I never get sick of that intro. Okay, guys, it's Atheist Junior here, and the reason that my stream looks so awesome right now is thanks to Peter, my producer, and he also made that fabulous intro. So, without further ado, we're just going to get this show started and see who shows up, and I think it'll be a good time. So, hello to Brady and Lori in the chat. And Peter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Still trying to wake up a little. I just woke up when the stream before this one started. So getting my
Yeah,
coffee
that
and
that stream was exhausting in itself. So,
it. Yeah,
I mean, Leo was very fired up, and Otangelo. I mean, he Otangelo really kind of controls the topic that a stream is about. He really sort of uh, I don't know. Do you know what I mean by that?
yeah. Well, I can explain that, and that's just because Speed likes it when theists get in. So usually when Otangelo shows up, he at least gets some attention. It's not always, because there are times when he just shows up and just wants to be part of the conversation. Uh, this time, people really wanted to interact with him, so yeah, then
Yeah,
that's where you get it. Where uh, yeah, Leo's always fired up. I always call Leo my favorite angry atheist. At times he should take it down a notch or two, and but
well,
well,
yeah. I mean, I haven't seen him that fired up like ever, and I mean, it was fun to see, but it was kind of he was starting to interrupt other people, and
yeah.
got muted and then booted at one point, which for some reason, Otangelo always seems to want to ask me questions. I don't know. One thing I noticed that was kind of interesting is I had some comments on a stream I did with Otangelo, and they said that Otangelo seems a lot like calmer and more rational when you're talking to him than other people. uh, I don't know. I said maybe it's because I try not to interrupt him.
I think it's the way you conduct a conversation. When I have conversations with Otangelo, and I've had several now in private, we get along well. I mean, there's not a lot of problems. He's never rage quit on me. So I think the way you go into a conversation helps, and uh, if you really go in trying to want to have a decent conversation, um, Artangelo's is, I think, a good guest to have. So I don't have any problems with him at all, and I think he senses from the time that he has talked to you that you're interested in having a decent conversation. You're not after a gotcha moment or trying to set him up for something. Um, so I think that's why he's eager to talk to you.
Yeah, I will say that there was a moment in that stream that I didn't really like was when I forget who it was, but they were asking Otangelo, "Do you know what this specific paper says and this specific paper says?" And that's kind of the trivia, like gotcha questions that I don't really think are helpful. I understood the point of what he was saying,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I'm really grateful to Speed for giving my channel a shout out just preempted. I didn't ask him to do that or anything, and but I guess the content on my channel is starting to get noticed by other people. Like, um, Gutsick Gibbon has been really adamant about shouting me out on her channel when I come into her streams, and there's been a lot of people on Twitter and stuff that have been promoting me, and obviously all the work that you've done for my channel. But um, I wanted to talk about my newest video since before I uploaded this one. I yesterday I saw Kent Hovind did a response video. Have you seen his response video to Aaron's first lies in the textbook video?
Yeah,
Or did you?
I have. Uh, so I'm not sure if Arn's going to respond to him at all. I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think so either because, I don't know if you saw my video that I did in response, but I uploaded it yesterday and then this morning I saw that Aaron had actually commented on the video saying like thanks with a smiley face and then recently I saw that he had also posted a link to the video on his Facebook page and that was really exciting for me. And usually when I upload a video, it gets a max of about 100 views in a 24-hour period.
Hmm.
But this video is almost at 800.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely due to him sending viewers my way. So I'm extremely grateful to Aaron. And I think part of the reason that he liked the video is because is maybe he feels like he can just continue working on his series on the older seminar videos, and he doesn't have to waste time responding to this video because really that Kent video is not even worth his time. It
No.
was just so full of insults and just mean spirited, like just a nasty vibe.
Yeah, so I think Arn has ruffled Kent's feathers because you can. This was in the response video where he brought it up again that he will debate Arn again if he has control of the mic, but of the mute button. If you look at his facial expression when he says that, you can see the anger coming up again. You can literally see it on his face that he gets angry about what happened in the one and only conversation that he ever had with Arn. And what?
Yeah, the discussion.
Yeah. While I agree a little bit that Arn did interrupt him, uh, what he skips, I think, is that Arn has had a reason to interrupt him, because if you ask someone a question and they start answering you, and during them answering you, it turns out that they're not addressing your question at all and answering just a completely different question, then you have a good reason to interrupt and ask them to go back to the question that you asked. So and have them answer that. And there's a fine line that you have to walk when you moderate a talk like this. So giving Hovind the mute button, I think, would be completely unfair, because then you would have to
Right,
give Arn the mute button as well, and then it would just
right.
devolve into a shit show. It wouldn't work. You need a
Well, it
decent moderator, and you need a moderator who can be impartial. And I don't think a lot of people can actually do that. I'm really proud that I was a moderator on a debate that Arn had a couple of years ago. That went well, and I think I'm impartial.
yeah.
But yeah,
Which debate was that?
that was with Mr. ID.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've tried to watch that debate, and honestly, the language barrier just stops me from being able to sit through it. Just that's nothing against him. It's just you know what I mean, right? Like it's kind of
Yes,
difficult to understand what he's saying,
yes, yes.
like genuinely.
At times it was really difficult, and but uh, it was a debate that wasn't going to go anywhere anyway. So um, and we knew that going in. We had no clue. So the Mr. ID contacted Jackson Wheat and said, "Would you help me set up a debate with Arn Ra?" And Jackson said, "Sure, I'll see what I can do." So Jackson didn't check him out. The moment Arn said that he wanted to do that, Jackson contacted me and said, "I have no experience with moderating a talk. Can you help?" I said, "Sure." And I didn't bother to check Mr. ID out. When we finally did, we both realized this is not a guy we should have Arn debate in the first place, because it's a waste of time. And so
Yeah,
we shot Arn a message, and we got into a hangout and said, "Okay, so here's the thing. This is the guy that we set you up with, and one thing, and that is why I've got massive respect for Arn. He said, "I told you that I was going to be there. You have promoted the stream, and people are expecting me to be there. So I'm going to be there. And I don't care if now in hindsight it maybe should never have happened. I gave my word, I'm there. And people on your channel will expect to see the show. People who know me will expect me to show up. So I'm going to be there. And that to me, that just shows how professional Arn is, even if he's set up to do something that he, in hindsight, would never have liked to do. Um, he still was there and provided a decent debate, even though during the opening statement of Mr. ID, you can see Arn just getting up and cleaning his room, which I thought was hilarious because
Well, and I'm sure he was wearing pants.
Arn was wearing pants. Yep. Yeah.
No,
Funny how
that's good.
funny how that happens with atheists. They wear pants when they're on
Yeah.
camera.
I guess
But
Gavin just lacks a belief in wearing pants.
yeah, there are other reasons. I won't go into it. But yeah.
Yeah. I sent Snake was right in the chat. I sent you an email if you want to get on the stream because I was hoping that he would come on as well. So just a heads up to you, Peter, if he goes in the back room.
I'll keep an eye on the back room. If I see anyone pop
so
up.
you saw. Okay. So you saw Kent's video. Did you see my video that I made in response to him?
I saw, I think, the first 10 minutes because you started streaming at, I think it was somewhere about 8 or 9 a.m. my time, and I hadn't slept yet, so I couldn't watch it, and today I just haven't had time. When I woke up, I saw Speed was going to go live, and he had Darth in the title, so that's always a good reason to join.
Yeah, I've been working on my Darth video, adding captions on YouTube to just the parts where I'm speaking, where it's hard to hear me at certain parts because I didn't add captions manually throughout the whole video. And man, adding captions to a YouTube video is mentally exhausting. It really it really wears you out.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and it's also it's a long video.
mhm.
The one Kent made, I
Yeah.
mean, and if you're going to
Yeah.
respond to an entire video, it's going to be a long video. So I have to make some time
Yeah.
and go watch it. I will.
Yeah, my video is about 1 hour. And there was one thing I missed because it was at the beginning, and I even responded to more of the video that I should, because like the first 10 minutes is literally Kent fumbling around on his computer and trying to get the video of Arn to play.
Yeah,
But one of the
that was a
things he
good
says
part.
is, yeah, it was
If you-
kind of funny to watch.
So here's the thing. If I get to talk to Kent again, I will tell him, see, this is why you should believe in evolution. Because obviously everything has evolved, and you're stuck in 2005 because technology has evolved and you haven't. So you should accept evolution, evolve, so you can actually work the technology of this time. Just
Yeah, like he says like, oh, they locked me up for 9 years, okay? But I'm like, Kent, you've been out for like 5 or 6 years almost. Like, learn to use a computer.
yeah. I mean, according to evolution, everything gets better. Yeah, Kent, it did, and you're still lagging behind. You haven't gotten any
Yeah,
better.
well, he says that evolution says that things get better automatically, which is not true. Like, things get more, they adapt to their environment better. They don't just get bigger and better constantly, you know.
No, but so
when
but technology does. And although
That's true.
you could make a point and say that people are adopting technology to fit their environment better, which would be artificial
Yeah.
selection. which would
Yeah, I
still
think he
be
says like
evolution.
everything. He says like everything gets better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
everything
yeah,
gets better.
if you look at the I forget the name of the law, but the like adage that microprocessors get smaller and smaller and have more storage every like 2 years or something like that. Um, I forget what that's called, but one of the things I wanted to like just mention from Kent's video is that he has his 777 club,
Hmm.
where he says that he saw on Aaron's Patreon that he had a 666 club of people giving 666 people who were donating $1 a day. And I'm thinking, like, that's not how Patreon works. I'm pretty sure those people were giving $1 a month, Kent. Because unless he had a bunch of patrons, that many signed up for like $30 a month, then I don't think that works. So he's like basing his dollar a day thing off something that wasn't even how Aaron had it set up. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but
Hmm.
Patreon doesn't work on a daily basis like that.
Yeah, so I think how it's set up is that people are donating $30 a month. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked at his Patreon at all. Uh,
Well, if he does have,
what I find funny every single time that he says, "Well, Arn Ra put me to this, and now we've got our 777 club." Wait a minute, 777 club, wasn't that something that Pat Robertson had? I'm not entirely sure. It was either 777 or the
that was
700.
that was the 700 club.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because people have complained, like Christians have complained in the comments that isn't that like gambling, like 777, like
Yeah, it's at least
yeah,
it's a clue. It's a clue.
yeah. But like I said in the video too, I was like, how is it fair that you have the mute button to mute Arn? Like, does he get the mute button also when you start gish galloping to get to mute you? Like,
Yeah, that's why I think it would be unfair. You can't have one of two participants have a mute button to mute the other one because then you're not going to get a decent debate.
right.
Maybe someone should have the mute button, but if someone has the mute button, it should be an independent moderator. And I would even be more than happy to allow, for instance, Steve in, and Steve asked me in the private chat to mute whenever he thinks that that's reasonable. Um, for people who don't know, I've talked to Kent a couple of times last year, and we have been talking about getting him back, talking to Arn. I'm not sure Arn is still open to do that. At the time he was. He hasn't said no, but he said I want to have that mute button, and I told him that is not going to happen because that would just be dishonest. I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't allow an atheist to have a mute button so they could mute you. Maybe that's why he
Yeah,
hasn't
that's
said no yet. He hasn't given me a definite no. So that's
well,
kind of weird.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure Arn wants to do this series first and finish that, but I I think Kent is just bluffing because that's ridiculous. There's never been a debate where I've heard of one person being able to mute the other whenever they want. That's like Darth level stuff. That's what Darth Dawkins does,
Yes.
and it doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
Yeah, and
and again, like uh, that discussion. In my opinion, Kent, like they were going back and forth, like there was some over talking, but Kent was interrupting Aaron a lot,
hmm.
and it's not like, and there is a difference. Like Aaron may have been interrupting Kent, but he was doing that because he was he would ask Kent a question, and then Kent would start answering a completely different question.
Yeah,
When Kent was interrupting Aaron, it was just because he was being belligerent, just being an asshole, you know?
yeah, yeah. So then that's and it's usually a thing. So I'll give an example from my own experience. A couple of months ago, Otangelo didn't even want to talk to me. Um, he was mad at me, and he had a good reason to be mad at me. We settled our differences. I overtalk people. I'm the first to admit that I will overtalk people. So does Otangelo, and we've both acknowledged that that is something that we do. That is something that we need to work on. If we want to have a decent conversation, we have that to keep that to a bare minimum. But we also both acknowledge that at times, it is necessary to interrupt. Because if you're going to ask a question and someone is answering, and it becomes during them answering, it becomes clear that they didn't understand your question or misunderstood you, you have to be able to clarify. And
Right.
that's not being insulting. That's not interrupting just to interrupt someone's answer or that you're not satisfied with the answer. Uh, there could be a multitude of things, and the things between Otangelo and me, English isn't my first language. English isn't Otangelo's first language. So we battle with the exact same things, and that is that
Yeah, that's a good point.
at times there will be a misunderstanding, and if we know that before we go into a conversation, then at least we have some leniency when it comes to interrupting. It it should be kept down to a bare minimum. I fully agree with everyone on that. But at times there's no way that you can avoid that.
Yeah. To Bob in the chat, I don't think that we know what a kind is. It's whatever the creationist needs it to be at that point. It's a sliding scale that goes. Usually it's species, but it can go
No, no, no.
genus, family,
It
or
it
wherever.
it goes up to family. And when you look at what Answers in Genesis has put out, they have a wide span that goes up to family. Kent Hovind, I think in the video that you reviewed, mentioned it that it can go up to family. I'm not entirely sure though, but he has mentioned it in a recent video that at least that I know that it can mean family. So it's too vague. It just doesn't work. You need to come up with a more specific uh, definition or a more specific word.
Yeah, it's not a scientific term. Like Mr. Batman was trying to tell me that, like the biogenesis says that animals bring forth after their kind, and I'm like, that there's no part of the definition of that that mentions the word kind. And I kept telling him that. Eventually, he gave up on it. You know?
Well, the Bible does say they bring forth after their kind, but that doesn't go against evolution. If kind
Yeah, the
is
Bible says that.
if kind is at the family level, then they can bring forth after their kind and can produce completely different animals. No problem with evolution there. Nothing.
Well, one thing I asked Kent was, you say that a horse and a donkey can bring forth a mule, but the mule can't really bring forth anymore because it's sterile.
Yes.
And he didn't really give me a good answer for that.
And
Of
also
course,
you need humans for a horse and a donkey to bring forth. That's not going to happen
that's
naturally.
true. Yeah, of course. I guess he would just say, "Oh, well, that means it takes intelligence." Okay, like he would just say something like that.
Yeah, because that's where you're going to veer away from evolution and you're going to introduce intelligent design. This is what we do with artificial selection. This is how we got our hundreds of different breeds of dogs. This is how we got broccoli. I mean,
Right.
if nothing produces a different kind, then we shouldn't use the word broccoli. We just should use the word mustard.
Yeah, the brassica plant, they were able to cultivate kohlrabi, kale, broccoli, all of that from the wild cabbage. And
Yes. No, from the wild
the
mustard.
others,
From the wild mustard.
yeah, well, I think, yeah, it's called, like, I think some people call it wild cabbage colloquially, but yeah, it's a wild mustard plant, the Brassica oleracea.
Yeah.
And he says that when you know when you're able to bring forth a new species, like the other species have to die for the better one to take over, but those other species didn't have to die to cultivate, all those different new plants.
Yeah,
Uh,
we still have those. So no, death
right.
isn't necessary. Death is
And
necessary when you read the Bible, because that was what was going to happen to Adam and Eve if they ate from the tree. They were going to surely
right.
die. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying when I was talking to uh, Rebecca. Bread is life, bread of life, bread is life. That because she said that atheists don't want to know God, and I said, well, maybe it's because God is awfully murderous. Like he's a bit scary, And some of her answers were a little bit BS. Like um, I'd be interested to hear what you thought of some of the things she said, because some of them were weird, like saying that God has partial omnipotence. Like that one threw me off.
so here's the thing: if she says atheists don't want to know God, if he's the murderous character that is portrayed in the Bible, I would definitely want to know him, because I want to know what he's up to. It doesn't mean
Yeah,
that I'm
like
going to worship him. It doesn't mean that I'm
yeah,
going to dedicate my life to him. But if he exists, I want to know so I can be prepared. If I'm outside and there's a murderer on the loose, I want to know where he is, what he's doing. Same thing with a god.
yeah.
Exact same thing.
It's like keeping your enemies close.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen broccoli produce a horse? Checkmate, evolutionist. Oh, speed of sound is in the chat.
Yeah.
See, is it speed of sound, or is it answers in atheism? Is that just two? He's got the same different
his,
usernames.
his
Confused.
name used to be Speed of Sound of Gravity. That was his full name.
Right.
And he rebranded his channel to Answers in Atheism. I think that's a response to Answers in Genesis. But yeah, the person behind it, everyone just says Speed, and so that's when he knows you're addressing him instead of the channel.
Yeah. Well, Erica Gutsit Gibbon, she was encouraging me to go on his channel, so I'm glad that I got the opportunity today, even if it was a little bit hectic.
Oh, I see Otangelo's here too. I can only see that. Otangelo, you're using your account where you have me blocked. You seriously unblock me.
Well, you guys in the chat, you can let me know what you think of the new stream layout that Peter made for me, because he did this is all him. He did all this himself. I just complained about things like change this and change that. I don't like that.
Well, so I mean, it is your channel. So if the artwork is going to
Yeah.
represent you, which I always tell people, the way your channel looks, it should represent you, not someone else. That should be you. And so if I make something and you think, well, that's not exactly how I like it, um, I'll change it. Oh, now we've got Oz in the room as well. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, hey
Iron
Oz.
Charioteer, that intro was also made by him, and Oz made me an intro, and then he sent it to me, and he saw Peter's intro, and he was like ashamed, like he was like, never mind, like his intro is better.
You shouldn't have told me that. You know Oz and I like to go at each other, so he just called me
That's
Pete. He
true.
just called me Peter Popoff. I'll get back to you,
Oh
Oz.
no.
I'll get back to you. And
Well, I'm sure.
Speed asked,
Uh,
yes, I'm using OBS, Speed, OBS and StreamYard, and some scripts, which reminds me that I forgot one thing. I should have handed Atheist Junior a different script with a code, so he can do things like let me. Okay, let me.
well, I don't have OBS.
Wait. I'll have to go and check something. I have to go into. Okay, so
Yeah,
that
I was
that
gonna
is.
say I don't think that you sent people lots of letters and with little bottles of little packets of miracle water in them. That's probably from a suspect source, like
Nope.
or little napkins. Like this is a faith napkin. Send me back 2150, and I'll pray that your leg grows back.
Okay, there we go. So now I've
Ah,
got
I
it set
see.
up. Now I can,
So, Peter,
now I can
I
pull
had
up
a question.
things from the side chat.
Okay, that's awesome. But I had a question for you. Did you see what happened to Raging Atheist on his 3,000 sub stream?
No, no, I haven't seen that. So
Well, he has a like tip ticker where it scrolls across the bottom of the stream, and it says people who have donated, like super chats and stuff.
mm-hmm.
And somebody, I can only guess who,
Of
on the
course,
same day that I had those people come into my stream and say racial epithets, they donated a super chat that had a name with an inappropriate word in it. I'll just
yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's the part that I heard people talking about. And Oz says it was me, uh, for some reason.
I
Oz
I think,
Oz is really going after me.
yeah, Oz is uh Oz is my dad, so I can't control what he does. You're just gonna have to sort of put up with it.
Well, so I do have the ability to send out the link to people on Twitter. So if there are people that you think that we should bring in here, I can shoot them the link on Twitter. That's not a problem. So we don't have to make it public. So we don't get
Yeah,
sniped.
yeah, that would be good. If Oz or anybody else wants to, they can just let me know in the chat, and then you can send them over the link,
Or not.
and
In
or not.
in the case of Oz, I could not send in the link just to mess with
Yeah.
him. No, no, I'm not going to do that. This is not my channel. I'm just a producer. If you tell me to do something, I'll just do it. So
Okay, so Sydney Winston, you edited out that's good. Yeah, I should probably do that with my stream, but yeah, and I sent Rage the link to my stream because I wanted to see if he could recognize the voices of those people that came into my stream, because I don't know if it was the same people or not, but I've recently, it seems like I've really had people targeting my channel. Like when I did that orange stream, I was banning people left and right. Like
hmm
I was
yeah,
having to add mods and
I I don't know if you saw Sidney Winston said if he can have the link, I can shoot it to him on Twitter or on Facebook if you want me to.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So
Yes, miracle ketchup packets.
let me up over here. Sidney Winston.
Holy water.
Okay.
I Oz, you need to send me $21 and I'll send you a healing rag from my garage.
Okay. Sydney, check Facebook. You've got a link. Now I'll keep an eye out. So you sent the link out to Snake as well because I saw him in the chat
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. He told me that he isn't home yet, but I think I messaged him around 5, and he said he'd be like ready in like an hour. So he has the link in his email. So I'm sure he'll pop up pretty soon.
Okay. And I have to go look. Okay, there it is. I sent this dude called Tang a link as well, if he wants to come in.
Yes, I said that Oz should rename his atheist channel to, what was it, like the Atheist International Network Tribunal.
The Atheist International. Wait, say that again.
And It's the Atheist International Network Tribunal.
Taint.
And so,
Oh,
yes.
we've got Sydney in the house, so I'll switch it over to a few more guests. Nah. Okay, so
Three of me.
I I
Triple E
thought
Junior.
I thought I had this fixed. For some reason.
Do I have audio at least?
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
you're here.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Sydney.
Now,
Atheist Junior, congratulations, dude. You're doing so well.
oh, thank you. Yeah, the growth on my channel has been pretty crazy just this whole month of May, which, my birthday was at the start of the month. So it's been an awesome way to, start the month and just,
Nice.
I hope that it's, keeps going.
I want to talk to Otangelo.
You want to talk
Well,
about
Well, I want to, he already asked me to tell him why I think he's irrational. So I want to tell him.
well, if Peter can send him the link somehow, because I prefer to not put it in the chat again. But I think he has Peter blocked, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
No,
that's
he
his
has
loss.
he has me blocked in the chat. He's using an account that has me
Oh,
blocked.
you must have smashed his hypocrisy.
No. This
or
goes
uncovered his bullshit. Or
no.
called him something.
This goes back to a point where he had good reasons to block me. So I'm not saying that.
Nah, he's a crybaby.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since then, so. But if I can just gloat, I wanted to gloat really quick about some of my analytics. Just this one about my views for the last 28 days, which is basically the last month, and it's about 500 and almost 6,000, and my views are up about 300%.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
So you were talking about the Raging Atheist, and
Yeah.
how So I took his video, I took his stream, and I covered over all the tip ticker stuff, so that that the reason is why Nakasuji didn't leave it up there was because of the trolling through the tip ticket, which I took out. So if you want to watch the whole thing, it's 3 hours long. It's on my channel.
Yeah, I think that's just so messed up that he's having a stream where he's celebrating a milestone like that.
Yeah.
And then people want to mess it up. Like, it's just nasty what people will do.
Yeah. Well, if he's listening, he's welcome to get the video that I made and edited from me, so he can put it on his channel as well.
Yeah, and I would definitely, he's added me on Twitter, and I would certainly enjoy having a conversation with him sometimes because, I've had some criticisms here and there of Rach, but I definitely consider myself a fan. And
well, if you watch the video, that's where there were no other theists, so I attacked them. Well, I didn't attack them, but I sort of called them out on their tactics.
And, I watched his follow-up video.
Yeah, no. If you watch the one where that 3,000 sub video is the one where I called him out on how is it possible that to me it's 100% impossible that God exists, that a creator God exists, 100%. But for all the atheists, when they talk to theists, they say, "Look, I don't know everything. Maybe there's a possibility that God does exist, but there's hardly, it's hardly likely." But the theists, on the other hand, they don't say, maybe there's a small possibility that no God exists, but it's highly unlikely. They never say that. They're 100% sure that their God exists, contrary to all rational thinkers and evidence and reason and even just plain old common sense. So I call them out on that. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's useful at all to go into a debate with a theist and hold the position that there is a possibility that a creator's God in the supernatural realm where nothingness reigns supreme exists. I don't think that's the right way to do it. There's no possibility whatsoever.
Okay, I'm switching. I'm switching to 6 people because we've got Snake and Otangelo.
Yay, Snake is here.
Awesome.
Howdy. Can you hear
How's
me?
it going? Yep, I can hear you. Snake is the new mod on my channel, so all of you respect his authority.
And your
Especially you,
producer. And your
Otangelo.
producer.
Hail Snake.
And your producer.
Yes, and my producer.
Isn't a mod. Terrible.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I fucked up, guys.
No, I wasn't. I
Snake.
wasn't there for the stream when you made people mods.
Snake,
So
And hail Eve.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But I've rectified it.
thanks.
Snake, did you see the video? I think you were in the live chat of that video I did responding to Kent yesterday.
Yeah, I think I saw most of it. I came in a little bit after you started, but yeah.
Yeah, the video has been doing a lot better than I thought it would. Like, it might. It's at 800 views right now, which I usually get about 100 views in this time period when I upload a video. So, you know, I'm pretty glad about that because Arn really helped promote the video, and I think it's a really good video. Like, I went and watched it again, and except for, you know, there was one point where I had my mic on mute because I was I didn't realize because I was multitasking, like going back and forth from one tab to the other, trying to ban people in the chat who were spamming, like calling me a dumbass and saying your mom is an atheist and shit like that. Like, but yeah, so there's like a little bit of dead air in one section, but it's a good video. So I would say check out the rest of it. But what do you think of my fancy StreamYard layout?
Oh, I'm jealous.
Well,
It's moving.
yeah, I know it's like
You got to pay the
Duh.
big bucks for that.
Nope.
no,
You just
Peter works pro bono.
Snake. You just have to have connections. And by the way, as of now, you have that connection.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to design something.
Yeah, I love your avatar. Cracks me up, like the one like where he's coiled up like at the podium, and just I don't know, it's just funny to me. Like, I'm working on a thumbnail for our talk that we did a little while ago that has that avatar in it. I'm just kind of backed up because I've been putting out so much stuff for my channel that, you know, I've still got a lot of stuff to do, like thumbnails and all that.
Yeah, I'm working on one where the snake is like sitting in a chair next to a fireplace, so that might be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I might try and do something with like clay or claymation because I'm pretty good at that. But yeah,
So you want
Have
to
you
have
ever
an animated fireplace?
well, I wouldn't animate that myself. I would just Photoshop that in. But
Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, because I've done that. I've made someone, I think, a GIF as a backdrop for their show, which is no longer there because the person whose channel it was on decided to delete all of them, which I still think is sad. But that had an animated fireplace, and it's not too hard to do.
yeah, I'm having troubles with OBS, like putting in videos or clips that I've already edited, because when I put it in OBS to like play media widget or whatever, and then I hit record, it like skips around. It won't record smoothly. It'll record anything in like Google Chrome smoothly, but just not any videos I play through OBS. So I don't know how to do like intros on live streams or anything yet.
Yeah, are you trying to record a video from the desktop or stream live?
You can play your videos from the browser.
Yeah.
You don't need open OBS to play the videos. You can just play it through your browser and just put it a window a window capture.
Yeah, that's the jury rigged way, I guess.
Yeah.
It works, though.
There are several possibilities to do that. So if it's an intro, what you do is you make it just a separate scene with the intro in it, and then you can play that. But it's different
Yeah,
if you want to play video and you want to have the people in StreamYard to have sound as well. That needs some more rigging.
Yeah, I have like
Yeah.
a separate scene, but it just skips around.
Like it's choppy.
Yeah, like it's lagging really bad.
It's possible that you OBS, because OBS can be a memory hog, so it's possible that you may have to close some other programs you have open, like Chrome can take up a lot of memory, like if you have a lot of tabs open.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that would be my guess. It's always better to, I would say, like next time you try to do that, try rebooting your computer and then just have OBS open only and see if the performance isn't better.
Yeah,
'Cause-
and
'cause,
it's also it's also dependent on settings that you have in OBS. So if you, for instance, if you're going to rescale your video in OBS, that's going to eat up a lot of memory. But I mean, if you want, Snake, I can help you out with that. And the person, my go-to person is Critical Cripple. I also always do a shout out for him because he made the script that we're currently using to use OBS, and the one that allows me to pull up messages from the side chat. That's all Critical Cripple's work. But if you wanna have a chat sometime, an offline chat, we can go over your settings and see whether or not we can figure out why that is happening.
Yeah, man, I'll just put my email in the side chat here.
Yeah, Peter is like, he's so helpful. Like it's amazing. He's like my grandpa.
It's what
Yeah,
my
he
coach.
seemed good with tech, so
it's.
Yeah, he was like my coach leading up to the debate. He was like coaching me the whole time. And also, I wanted to say thank you, Peter, for getting Jackson Wheat to come and help me writing my debate script, because he was such a huge help, and he just like showed up like right away when you like asked him to. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and
Because Jackson,
I give kudos to Jackson for that. Jackson is always eager to help people out when it comes to debates and for any questions. He's always there to help people out. I'm pretty much the same. I do that with graphics, and my reason for that is if you look at Christian channels, they've got all the money, so they can throw money around to have everything look good and look nice. Atheists don't have that luxury, so we need to come up with something where we can at least compete when it comes to production value, and that's why I don't charge for any of my stuff. I just try and help people out so we can counter what we want to counter, and I still think that because of the people that we want to target, which are the theists, that we would try and convince to accept science, for instance, or maybe challenge their own beliefs. Those are different people, and different people need different approaches. So the more channels we have, the better we could do our work, I think. And that's other people will support through Patreon. I support with artwork and with help getting things look good.
yeah, I've been waiting for my computer to evolve, but no such luck.
It doesn't happen.
No, maybe Kent is right all along.
Yeah.
my bad, guys. I have some family staying with me right now, so the house is a little bit hectic. But what were you saying? 'Cause I didn't even hear what you were saying about Kent. If you guys are making fun of Kent without me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh yeah, I said I was waiting for my computer to evolve.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that earlier because he was like, "Oh, evolution says everything gets better automatically," and like, I don't think that's what it says. I mean, technology does, but not. I mean, not animals. And he just like he says the same stuff all the time. And his that new video, like he was being a real dick, right? Snake, like to Aaron, like it was ridiculous.
He's always a dick to Aaron.
But he was just like especially pissed off this time. He's like, "We're gonna debate again, and I'm gonna have the mute button, so you shut up, Larry."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would actually do that as long as a moderator could mute Kent.
I know, that's what I said. Like, does Aaron get does Aaron get a mute button also? Like, do we get to duct tape your mouth, Kent?
Yeah.
Like, that seems unheard of.
I can just see him power tripping every time he would press the mute button now.
Right. Like, but he basically got that because, when they did their last debate where it was like video exchange, he was like, I have the space bar. And it's like he barely even responded to any of Aaron's video and didn't even finish that debate. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because I just love like that debate, Aaron's videos. Like when a new video would come out of that series, like I was like, I have to drop everything and watch this. I especially love the last two, like number 7, and then the video that's called "Why Hovind Failed." Like those are so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron is hilarious when he's like debunking Kent. I mean, I enjoy pretty much all of his videos, but those are definitely my favorite. So, and,
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't think that Aaron has ever debunked Kent.
really, have you seen their debate and discussion video?
Parts of it, yes.
Well, I've probably seen that debate like 5 or 6 times, and I would definitely say that he's debunked Kent because, and there's one part of it where he's saying that he shows multiple textbooks about evolution, and he says that none of them mention the Big Bang, none of them mention chemical evolution or the formation of stars. And Kent didn't really have a good answer for that. He just talks about taking lifeguard classes for some reason. So, I mean, why do evolution textbooks not mention the Big Bang?
Just saying those lifeguard classes came in handy last year.
Right. Yeah. Apparently. Yeah.
and didn't he find like the children's books that Kent pulls
Yep.
his oversimplifications from?
Yep.
Yeah. I
And
know
he
one.
calls them high school textbooks.
Yeah, one of them. I called Kent out on that in our debate because his book about whales is a children's book. Like, and that's
Yeah.
why I don't like how I don't know if it's that book or a National Geographic thing where it says that, oh, imagine whales walking around. It's true. What it should really say is it should talk about the ancestors of whales being 4-legged tetrapod mammals on land, not actual whales walking around, because of course whales couldn't walk around. Their like bones, their leg bones are far too like tiny. They're not even connected to the spine.
And have you ever seen those children's biblical stories? They're completely edited, completely different from the actual Bible.
Yeah, like the ones that try to make Noah's Ark story seem like happy and
Yeah.
and like kid friendly. Like, yeah. But
Or the
Archangelo-
worst ones like King David and stuff that
Yeah,
usually involve
they-
prostitutes, but they're conspicuously absent.
Yeah.
They leave out Ezekiel as well, where the woman is dreaming of man hung like horses, no, hung like donkeys, emissions like
Yeah,
horses.
and Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot's children, and that story about Lot is just bullshit. Like clearly Lot is lying when he says, "Oh, my kids tricked me when I was they got me drunk and they tricked me into having sex with them." It's like, no, you obviously just got drunk and then did it yourself. Like, stop lying, Lot.
Yeah, how did they
I mean,
get
maybe-
you? How did they get you drunk if you didn't drink anything? Just
Well,
Doesn't
according to
completely
Kent,
line up.
Noah got drunk accidentally because he didn't know that was the very first time that fermentation happened, and Noah just set his grape juice down and forgot about it, and then came back and it turned to wine. So it was accidental that he got drunk and then walked around naked and passed out. I mean, it happens.
Post hoc rationalization is always nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, he explains ERVs, like retroviruses, by when the canopy of ice came down, that somehow caused retroviruses to get in our DNA that just happened to be identical to chimpanzee DNA.
Well, that's the difference between religious and scientific explanations. Is one just kind of fits and tries to be consistent, and one actually makes predictions and calculations.
Yeah, one is making novel predictions based on the data and coming to your conclusion, and the other is starting with your conclusion and trying to fit the data to your conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which means it can fit any data.
One of the things that I like about Kent is that he's when asked about making predictions, he says, well, if there was a flood, I predict there will be evidence for a flood. I predict that if there was a worldwide flood, we would find, what was it, clams on top of Mount Everest. That's not a prediction, Kent. That's you just telling what you already know. You haven't predicted anything. You need to predict something that we don't know yet and we're about to discover. That is what a prediction is.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a video about that on my channel. I don't know if you guys have seen it, called Kent Hovind's Prediction. And it's where he says that if you take 2 dogs and you breed them for 50 generations, the offspring will be dogs. And it's like, it's not a prediction if that's something that we already know based on stuff we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
meanwhile, in Russia, they did that with silver foxes, and they got something that resembles a dog more than a fox.
Yeah.
Right.
And if other models can predict it, then it's pretty much, it's not a novel prediction.
No.
Yeah. Well, creationism doesn't have a model.
Yeah.
But Otangelo, why is it that evolution textbooks don't mention the Big Bang?
So let me just answer to that. I actually disagree. Our model, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Our model is intelligence. That's the model, which explains basically the existence of the entire physical existence in the world, where God, as a super powerful, super intelligent being far beyond our limited capabilities, has the intelligence and the power to instantiate a universe and life. And that model makes sense because we can use the analogy to ourselves. We use our intelligence to create things for specific purposes. We make blueprints. Based on these blueprints, we make machines, factories, and so forth. And that's what we see in nature. That's what we see in life, where the information stored in DNA, which is basically a blueprint, or it is assembly information which directs the making of molecular machines, which are proteins, and the cell factory. So we extrapolate from that evidence to God, which must have been involved in creating the world.
I'm going to annoy you a little bit, Otangelo. So where's the blueprint that God made to make DNA?
Yeah, how did he do it?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
where's the specific blueprint for DNA? So I'm not saying that DNA is a blueprint. I want to see the blueprint that God used to make DNA.
Well, I can ask a more specific question if you want, Otangelo.
No, let him answer this one.
No, I'm just saying when he's done with this one.
Okay, Peter, when you have a specific goal, then first you conceptualize what you want to achieve in your mind, and then you put it on paper, and then eventually you instantiate it, right?
Right. So where's God's paper?
Okay, so I believe that God, beyond the universe, he conceptualized the physical universe and life and everything in it, and then he instantiated it. And
But
um,
that's special
he, of
pleading.
course, isn't, no, it is not
It
special
is. It
pleading.
is because
Um,
if you equate it to humans making things and needing a blueprint, if that is your equation, then God needs a blueprint, and then we should be able to see or find or discover that blueprint. Otherwise, your
well,
analogy doesn't work.
first of all, Peter, I have maybe to specify what I mean with blueprint.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, when we are making blueprints, I as a machine designer, I sit on the drawing table, and there I make a blueprint of a specific device with a specific function, and then I specify precisely the dimensions, the materials, whatever is needed in order to make that device which I have in mind. Okay, and so someone can take that blueprint, which understands the language, and then instantiate physically and make the device which is in the
How do they
blueprint.
instantiate it? What does that mean? Instantiate.
Well, for example, I can send a blueprint, a drawing to the factory, and their factory workers, they can take the blueprint, they can read the information, understand it, and then they see what exactly has to be made. Then they can take the materials, they can work on these materials, the sizes and everything, and then make the device which is demanded
You're
That's
precisely
that's
based on that
instantiation.
blueprint.
The
you're,
blueprint is the model, not the intelligence.
but you're digging an even deeper hole, because now, in order for your God, the God you propose, to be true, we not only need to find the blueprint, but there's a factory too.
Okay, I use that as an analogy, Peter, in
I know.
regards of living cells.
I know.
Okay,
I'm just
so,
I'm just toying
so
with you. I'm just toying with you with
Okay.
what you say as an analogy, and then pointing out that it is a poor analogy, because if for the analogy to be correct, then if God works the same way we do, then we should be able to find factories, blueprints, maybe even workers, machines that he put together
Okay.
to make stuff. We should be able to find all of that.
Okay,
well, not
let me ask you something a little more specific, Otangelo, because I'm very interested to see what Snake will say about this based on what he goes to school for. But you say that you don't think RNA is the precursor to DNA, right?
I think that God created RNA, DNA, and everything which is required to start life all at once. I don't think that gradative narrative is possible or true.
But that doesn't really make sense, because if they're created all at once, why would you need RNA and DNA? Why not just make DNA? Like, and
Well, because
scientists can go ahead.
because RNA is used for several different functions. Messenger RNA is used to transport the information, transcribe it, and then transport it to the ribosome to then be translated. You need RNA for regulatory functions to make the ribosome uses RNA. You need tRNAs, which is also made of RNA. So we are talking here about different functions in the cell. DNA is the storage device, and RNA has different functions.
But scientists can make single-strand DNA in the lab or they can synthesize RNA, and they know that it's they know that RNA is the precursor. So I'm just confused. Like, Snake, do you see what I'm saying about this? Like,
You're falling into
why?
his trap, AJ.
Maybe maybe you're right, but
You totally
Well,
falling
um,
into
this
his
is
trap.
Atheist Junior. This is a claim which is being made
it's
because it is RNA is not so complex to be made to be synthesized as DNA. That's why the claim is that RNA came first. But if you actually dive into the science to actually understand what
You
we are
understand
talking
science,
about, then
Artangelo? You're saying
well,
you
I
understand science,
well
Artangelo?
I well I mean a little bit, yes.
A little
Okay.
bit. Oh, okay. So if you understand science a little bit, then you know just a little bit about human evolution. Not much.
Yes,
Not much.
yes,
Then
not much.
okay. So please,
Well, can
why
I
don't you
finish
talk?
my?
Why don't you
Can I
talk on
finish
this?
to an, Can I
Well,
finish to answer
just one
Atheist
moment.
Junior?
Sure, sure. Just
Okay,
talk.
thank you.
Talk from the.
Okay,
Just
when I
just one.
finish, then
Just
you
one
can.
request.
Wow.
One request. One request. Talk from the side of a creationist. Try not to talk science to us because that's just going to embarrass you. It always does embarrass you.
Okay, listen.
Embarrasses me to have to listen to.
Science is not on the side of naturalism. Science is neutral in that regard.
Talk
There
from
are
the.
there
Talk
are
as a creationist.
scientists. Can I finish, please?
Talk
Can
as a
I answer,
creationist,
please? Can
please.
I answer to you?
Not
Listen,
as a
if you are
scientist.
over,
No, you can't.
listen,
I'm
if you
not
are,
going to listen to
listen,
talks on
listen.
science
If you are over
from a
talking and
creationist.
No,
disrespecting me, I
Now
will
you're
Sydney,
doing a
just not
Darth Dawkins.
continue.
Sid,
Okay,
Sydney,
I'm
Don't talk
finished
me.
with you.
Sydney,
Okay, sorry.
let
I
let him
finished with him.
answer. Let him answer.
one
Sure.
No,
topic at a time.
he
Go
One
started.
ahead.
topic at a time.
No, he started with ignorance, so I will just ignore him. Okay?
You see, there he goes. That's what he. As soon as he's in the corner, he painted into a corner. There,
I'm not
he's on
cornered.
ignore.
I'm not
You're
cornered, but you
absolutely
are over
cornered.
talking. No, I'm not. You are
I
just over
asked you.
talking
I
me.
asked you to talk.
You are disingenuous.
I
You
no, I'm
are
not. I
disrespectful.
asked
You
you.
are over talking me. So it's over. I'll not
Okay, all
continue
right.
to
So
talk to you.
everybody
All
else,
right?
if anybody else engages with Artangelo, please make sure that he talks from the side of a creationist and doesn't start trying to teach you science. You're falling into that trap every time.
Well, I think he suggested I look into the science. I don't know if he was trying to teach me, although
Exactly.
he is a creationist, so
He's an
I
absolute
think that
creationist. He's a young Earth creationist. He believes that God is. He's like a Darth Dawkins, but not anxious.
okay. Well, Tangelo, you go ahead, and then we'll let the next person respond.
Okay. Do you know a little bit about biochemistry?
A very little bit. You'd be better
Okay.
off asking Snake about that because
Okay.
he went to school for
Do,
cell biology.
do you know how the cell synthesizes RNA?
We don't care.
Um,
We're talking
no,
about
not really.
God. Does God exist? Yes or no?
Okay.
Are you
In
100%
order to make
sure? Yes or no?
wow, wow. Atheist Junior, I think you need to moderate Sydney because I am not able to having a meaningful conversation here. This guy constantly interrupts. He's being disrespectful. He's being disingenuous. And if that goes on, then I see no reason why to continue here. I mean, it happened last time, and you know that I left the stream, and I wouldn't like to do it again. But if I keep seeing that people disrespect me, then I will just have to do it again.
Well,
Atheist
yes,
Junior.
I would agree that we should not be interrupting each other. And Otangelo, you know that when it's been one on one with me and you in the streams, that I do my best to let you talk. So without having to try and be controlling of people in the room, I would just say we should try and let each other talk, even if we have differences like creationists or evolutionists. We should still let Otangelo finish.
Okay, but when we ask him a question about creationism or God or whatever his dimension is, he starts talking science, and we sit here and listen to him. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, it's the topic was God, and the topic will sort of ebb and flow during these streams, so it goes back and forth. So you kind of can't avoid talking about science and religion in these
Absolutely.
streams.
I understand that,
And
but those who are religious can talk about their religion, and those who know science can talk science. But when somebody like Artangelo, who is a dyed in the wool cognitive cognitively dissonant Christian, he has no qualifications to start talking and trying to explain science to us. That's my whole point here.
Well, if I'm talking to a creationist and I have a difference of opinion in what they say about science, I need to let them tell me their opinion of what they think the science is so I can do my best to correct them or agree with them. Most of the time, it's going to be a
Yeah, but
disagreement, but
I understand
I
that.
don't want to tell
AJ.
people what they can and can't talk
Yeah,
about.
AJ, all he's doing, he's taking you away from God because he knows he can't go anywhere there. He's been debunked forever, and he's starting to go down the rabbit holes of minutia, mRNA and fRNA and gRNA, and who really cares about that kind of stuff? It's got nothing to do with this channel. It's not please come and teach us science, creationists. We really would like your side of the story. No, it's not like that at all.
Well, to be fair, I did ask him a question about RNA and DNA, and so I think it's only fair to let him respond to it.
Okay, I apologize then because I didn't realize that he was answering a question. I thought he just jumped into science to.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
From the God, the central issue, which is the non-existent, irrational, and impossible creator God.
Well, that is one thing I've brought up before.
Guys, maybe I can
Go
help.
ahead, Peter.
Maybe I can help. And I think this is what Sydney is trying to say. Otangelo, when we ask your questions about how you think we got here, we're interested in the method used to get us here, and that is still one of the things that I've never been answered. So and this is where I say this is special pleading, because if we're going to go off of science, we need evidence for everything. The moment we say God created this and this, there's no evidence needed anymore. That is the thing that I find frustrating when talking to a creationist, because there's a distinct double standard. You don't have to explain how God did it, but you do have to explain how it came about based on naturalism. And that I think that's the same thing that Sydney is getting frustrated with as well. Did I say that correct?
Yeah, I also get frustrated by. I asked Altangelo a little bit. What does he know about human evolution? He says just a little bit. Then he starts going into the mRNA and the big DNA. Yet at the same time, he believes that Adam and Eve were created, at the snap of a finger. So there's no need for RNA and DNA and evolution and anything like that in his distorted view. So that is why he runs away every time I mention human evolution, and it's so obvious that human evolution absolutely debunks a creationist point of view or perspective. And I'm trying to get all atheists to focus in on one point which crushes Christianity, and that is for them to understand that evolution is a fact, is proven, there's no debate, there's no discussion, there's no refutation, yet we still sort of, maybe for the lulz, we still accommodate them.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that, because that's what I was confused about, because, science has shown us that RNA is the precursor macromolecule to DNA, but Otangelo's reply is that God created all of this all at once. And to me, that doesn't really make a ton of sense, because if you have a precursor molecule, then and another thing I feel like we missed is that Otangelo, you said that I don't remember exactly what you said, but something about naturalism isn't a part of science, but it's a foundational part of science. Science studies the natural world.
The claim was different. The claim was different. What Otangelo said is that science isn't particularly supporting naturalism, and that is correct because it isn't supporting anything. But the only thing that we have is in science we can only examine the natural world. So that's where science can only come up with a naturalist explanation for anything. So he was correct in that. But I'm still curious that if God created everything at the same time, so RNA and DNA, how did he create?
And why?
Okay, Peter. When you have, I mean, I am a dualist. I believe the mind is separate from the brain. So we don't know how that interface mind brain works, but we know by our own experience that it does work. When I think about moving my arm, then I can give a command to my brain, which then commands to the neurons command uh, to the nerve system and so forth, and then to my hand, and then I can move it, and then I can do what I want to do. So we know it works uh, by the practical evidence that we have. Now, how exactly that interface actually works, we don't know. But does that mean that it doesn't work? No, it works, and we know it by our own experience. So we don't have to have an explanation of the explanation. This is a basic principle of science. Otherwise, you would have to have an endless series of explanations and not get anywhere. So if I am saying intelligence is a superior a causal mechanism compared to chance, which isn't even a mechanism whatsoever, then I say it based on what we see that chance or unguided random events can do compared to what we see intelligence is capable of doing.
I don't think you
You
even understood what you just
perceiving
said.
the homunculus fallacy is not science, though. So you do need to explain how that works. Especially when it begs the question, why even have a brain if the soul can just interact directly with matter? The soul could just lift limp clay arms, just like demons or God just can magically move matter here and there. If a soul can do that with a brain, it can do that with any matter. Plus, the whole homunculus theory has been debunked. You're not a mind inside of your brain. The brain is fractured into parts of your mind, and we can show that with cause and effect, which the only thing that you gave as evidence was personal experience of this so-called homunculus theory, which is just a feeling. It's not actually a cause and effect scientific principle.
Right, and we know that we know which parts of the brain um, are related to which functions, and we also know that if a person has brain damage from like a car accident, that it can drastically change their personality to where you're basically not the same person anymore. You're not the same mind. And I'm also confused as to how you can have a mind without a brain. It seems like that's sort of a ad hoc like explanation for God because God doesn't have a physical body or brain.
Well, the problem is how do you get a mind, a consciousness, thoughts, memories, feelings, and so forth from hard matter? That
How
is
do
an,
you get
that
it
is
from
something.
non-material?
This is called the hard problem of consciousness, and science has no explanation to that.
Wait, but if you don't need to explain how souls work, we don't need to explain how brains work.
I mean, it's literally a like fish brain on top of a reptile brain wrapped around with a mammal brain, and the brain just gets bigger and bigger. I can tell you how consciousness or how the human brain grew bigger in size and how humans became smarter than like our Australopithecine ancestors is because once humans evolved the ability to walk upright, their spinal cord was able to support a heavier and bigger skull and brain case, so the brain was able to be bigger. And that's where our superior intelligence to the other ancestor species came from. It's just simple matter of the brain size.
Well, I've put a link here in the side chat if you like to put it uh, uh, in the private chat. If you want to, can put it in the side chat so everyone can look it up. It's a big topic. So I don't think
I'm
we can
I'm still
exhaustively talk about the mind brain, if dualism is true, if it's and so forth. You know.
Otangelo, let me respond to that. So first of all, we know that the mind is a product from the brain. We can actually show it.
No,
We
we
can.
don't. No,
Yes,
we
we
don't
do.
know that,
Yes,
Peter.
yes, we do.
I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
We do. We can actually show uh, us coming up with ideas. We can show how we listen to other people. So it is definitely part of the brain. Apart from that, I didn't hear you come up with any explanation on how God created. Because if he's a disembodied mind, then all he could do is think. He has no other abilities than just think. And that's it. If his mind isn't connected to anything, he cannot create anything. Or you should be able to come up with a way, and you could use your own mind for this. If you think that your mind is not connected to your body, you could make your mind do something that has nothing to do with your body. You should be able to to create something without using your body. I don't think that's possible.
Well, Peter, I mean, I cannot give you answers to things which there are no answers. Okay, so I agree with you. We are also we have a limit in our
This
explanations.
this
So
this this could be the language barrier thing. What you just said, and I don't think that you meant that to say that. What you just said is we can't give you answers where there are no answers, so we can't tell you how God created because God didn't create. That is what logically follows from what you just said.
now, what I am saying, Peter, is I cannot explain to you how God can instantiate the physical world just from the realm of the mind.
Okay,
I
but
cannot
but
explain you how that works. I don't
I'll
know.
accept that. I'll accept that. But yet, even though you have no clue how that works, you state that it's not only possible, but that it is a fact and that it has happened. And for you to make that claim, you have to come up with decent evidence to support your claim. Otherwise, we can just dismiss it because I could say it was universe farting pixies, and because I don't know how universe how pixie farts work, I don't have to explain anything. But therefore, my explanation is now valid and can be, uh, and we should take that for truth. It's not how that works.
Okay, I'm not making factual claims, as you just said. Okay,
So you're
I
not
have
saying
no
you're not
empirical.
saying hold on. You're not saying God created everything.
Well, I cannot give you empirical demonstrable proofs that what I think happened is true. Nobody
But
has a time machine to go
but
back
that's not what
and
I
and
asked.
and, and
That's not what I asked.
mm,
I asked you make the definite claim that God created everything, and then you say I cannot back that up with any evidence. Is it then honest to
that's again
make
not that's
to?
also not what I said.
Oh, so God
The
didn't
only
create.
thing which no, you are moving now from what I said to claiming that I said something completely different, which um, the only thing that I am conceding here, Peter, is that I don't know how God from a mental realm can instantiate the physical.
I got that.
That's all.
I got that.
Okay. Okay.
But do you make the claim that God created everything?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any
That's what I
good?
believe. That's what I believe.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So, but you believe that you don't know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
but
correct.
is it a valid claim?
Absolutely.
How?
Okay. I mean, there are so many different arguments which can be brought forward.
Okay,
I
but
don't even know where to start.
arguments
But
aren't evidence. I can make
but argument,
I can make a ton of arguments about my dog being able to fly. Doesn't make it true.
okay, we have two things here. First, we have the evidence, which is the natural world, and direct revelation through the Bible, which I regard God's word. That's my basis. Okay, that the physical natural world is the evidence that's what
No, no, no,
is,
no,
which
no,
demands an
no,
explanation.
no. The physical evidence is evidence for the physical world is evidence for the physical world. You still get your claim that it was created by God from the Bible. So your revelation from God is all you have. You have no evidence to back it up because the Bible is the claim. The Bible claims God created everything, and now you want to use everything as evidence for the Bible, but that is not how that works.
Okay, I have two legs.
If I write a book, if I myself write a book, and in that book I claim that my dog created everything because she had a piece of chocolate she barfed and she barfed everything into existence. Does that now become a valid answer for origins? I don't think so. I need more, and I can show my dog. I can show video of my dog barfing. It's just a matter of time. I can show that. So I would have definite evidence for my dog, first of all, to exist, which is more than we can do for your God. I can have video of my dog barfing. So I've got two pieces of evidence that you do not have for your God. So I'm already two ahead of you.
Okay, Peter, we exist, right?
Yep. Last I
That
checked,
demands an explanation. That demands an explanation, right?
for me, I've got an explanation. My parents.
Oh, please, I am
I,
talking
I,
about
I think
reality.
therefore I am.
Yeah, we
I am
need.
talking about.
That's all I need.
First of all,
I am talking.
I was cheeky, so I'll retract that last comment. So I wouldn't say that
Yeah, you know what I mean.
we need evidence on how we got here.
That's
The,
what we're
the
talking about.
explanation demands evidence, but we
Can we
don't need an
agree?
explanation. We can just say we don't know because we don't have enough evidence.
Can we agree that without the sun, we wouldn't exist?
I would agree.
Yep.
The starting point is that we are here.
No,
We have a
no.
life-permitting universe.
Right.
That existence
We're here
demands
on
an
Earth, Potangelo. Without the sun, there'd be no Earth for you to exist on.
Okay, what I am saying is that there is a physical universe which is life permitting and there is life. That demands an explanation, okay?
There is an explanation. You would just
But you're acting like
used to
the
accept.
universe is here to permit life, not that life fits into the universe that is here.
Exactly.
Well, Snake, the thing is that in order for you even to have a universe, there are very specific requirements, and you have heard already all the arguments. And if these requirements are not met, then you don't have even a starting of the universe. You don't have even an expansion of the universe. You don't have the atoms which permit life.
Okay, but
You have
let's skip all of that. Let's skip all of that because what it goes down to is that we need an explanation how the universe got here. So we've come up with explanations that go back as far as Planck time. We can't look past Planck time, so we can't make any specific claims for what happened before Planck time. So the answer that we're looking for is I don't know yet. We may come up with the laws of physics that is needed to look past Planck time, but that would need people to come up with different mathematics that would apply in the period before Planck time. Until we have that set of mathematics, we can't investigate. So the only honest answer is we don't know yet. We might not know ever, but as far as it stands now, we don't know yet. And it would be dishonest to pose a claim, accept it as being the one true claim, when there's no evidence supporting that. And we can't get the evidence because we can't look further. So how do you suppose? How do you
Peter, I
suppose
think,
we
Peter,
get?
we had
My question would be how
we had this conversation already.
we have, but
And my answer to this is, I can pause it again, and I will quote here. Physicists like Stephen Hawking and Roger Penrose proved in the 60s that time cannot extend back indefinitely. As you play cosmic history backward in time, the galaxies all come together to a single infinitesimal point
Exactly.
known as a singularity, almost
Okay. Hold on.
as
Time
if
out.
they
Time
were
out. I need to
descending
respond. I need to
into a
respond
black
to this
hole.
because one thing you left out is that they didn't say time can't go back indefinitely. They said time within our known universe can't go back indefinitely. Everyone already agrees on that.
No, I don't think that's what they are saying.
Absolutely.
They said,
Come on.
That's absolutely what they're saying because we cannot look
no,
past.
I quote again.
Can
I
can
quote
you
here
quote?
again
Can
from
you?
Scientific American.
Okay. I'll try.
I'll put it in the side chat.
I'll help you
I'll
out.
put it in the side chat.
No,
you
you
can
don't
read
have
it,
to put it in the
okay?
side chat. I'll help you out. Quote me one scientist who has been able to look beyond our known universe. Put not only the quote, but put the paper of any scientist who has looked past our known universe to know what is outside of our known universe. If there's time outside of our known universe, we don't know.
Otangelo, have you seen a Penrose diagram before, Otangelo?
No.
Well, because Penrose diagrams talk about time-like infinities, and they talk about the distant future and past, and the scale of it goes back to infinity. So I'm confused about your quote, and also if that's a quote from the 1960s, I'm not sure if it's still relevant today.
Well, there are several reasons why the universe cannot be past eternal.
Like which are what?
I can quote you here. Just give me a minute, okay? There are several reasons.
Otangelo, do me a favor.
Can
Don't quote. Say it in your own words, because we're going to be here for ages if we're going to go look for quotes and then we go have to check all of those quotes. I'd rather hear it in your own words. We're talking to you, not to someone who said something in the 60s.
No, it's something.
That's irrelevant.
No, it's something which I wrote. Okay, imagine an event that would occur in the future. Let's say Real Madrid would win a soccer game against Barcelona at 2-0. If this game would be occurring 100 or 1,000 years from now, we would know after that finite time period that soccer game would actualize and occur. But if we imagine that it would occur at an infinite period of time from now, then that game would never actualize, because no matter how many years from now, it would always be an infinite period of time ahead. That period would never actualize. If we imagine that the soccer game mentioned above would occur right now, then this moment is the future of the past. In order to actualize, the past cannot be infinite, but must be finite. Otherwise, the
Okay.
soccer game
Okay,
would
hold on.
never
I
actualize.
get your point, and I'll debunk it right now. So tell me, when does time stop?
Well, it potentially it will not stop as long as we have a universe.
Okay, so it will never stop. The universe will die a
Well,
heat
if we
death.
have a
The universe
universe,
will die a heat death, which doesn't mean that it stops existing. It just changes the state again. But time will still continue, right?
no. As soon as you don't have change anymore, you cannot have time. You need space time.
As soon as you don't have change anymore, you can't have time.
Yeah,
I don't think that follows. Because there are a lot of
it
things
does.
that are no longer changing state and still are part of our time. So
You cannot have time if you have no change. How do you measure time? You need to have change.
I would disagree. Why
Well,
would
this is
we need change to have time?
Is there change in empty space?
Yeah. There's time between
uh,
the solar systems, there's time between galaxies, and yet there's nothing between galaxies.
When did the
so.
atoms
How
that
can
make up everything that we know of, when did they show up?
What I'm
About
trying to say
300,000 years after the Big Bang.
what I'm trying to say, Otangelo,
Right.
and this is something that you
How'd you-
can't answer and I can't answer. We can't say if time ever stops. So let's entertain the idea that it doesn't. Because, as I said, if the universe dies a heat death, it changes states again. We have no clue what's going to happen next. It's not that nothing is going to happen, because I recently dug into that, and a lot will still happen. It just won't allow for
Peter-
life. It would just won't allow for planets,
Right.
for galaxies. But there will still be a lot going on in our universe
Peter?
after. Oh, hold on. After heat death. So let's propose that time doesn't stop. That would make time infinite. If time is infinite, you and I couldn't have this conversation, according to what you just stated. So I have to reject that.
Can I also point out that several of the physical constants could still create life if they were changed, or some of I think the weak interactions have been modeled. If you eliminate them entirely, you can still create universes with life.
But Snake,
And the
Snake,
cosmological.
Snake. Then we're getting to an entirely different topic. I was
Okay,
I was curious.
Well,
I just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah, but
he
I
brought
was
up fine
curious.
tuning earlier, I think.
Yeah.
I still am curious. I don't care where time starts and ends. What I'm curious about is the claim that has been made that someone apparently knows what happened before Planck time, while no one on the planet has been able to look that far. And for them to make a positive claim, knowing what happened, i.e., God creating everything, they have to come up with a decent explanation on how they know this, other than a book said so. Because the book that said so has already been proven wrong on numerous things that it claims. I mean, the simplest thing is find a locust, count its legs, check the Bible. Bible's wrong.
Some of those are arms, sir.
The Bible also
That's what,
claims
that's
that
what,
even
that's
God.
what Dr. Kent Hovind told me that. Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Oz.
Hey, Oz, chime in. I'm running out of steam.
Yes, please save us.
No, I have a few questions, and then I'm gonna go jump. on
We
atheist hot
had
tub.
Oz, we had someone in the side
Can you
chat
guys hear
saying
me?
that you are a pathetic liar. A guy called Harry Penis. I highlighted that because I could.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh,
Otangelo.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Oz. So,
How are
Peter,
you?
I would like to answer you quick.
Okay. Hey, Otangelo, real quick. Peter said I could ask you a few questions. I gotta bounce. I can only jump in for a minute. And this is kind of on topic, but maybe a little off. And I'm just asking you a few questions. Just say agree or disagree. And then next time you and I talk, we can get through it. I just, as you guys are talking, I just wanted to ask this. So, agree or disagree? Tangela, a statement is true when it corresponds to reality.
Correct.
Okay, we all share the same reality, and only interpret it differently.
Correct.
Truth depends on the opinions and beliefs of people.
No.
A statement is true if everyone agrees.
No.
Strong belief, even without action, can change external reality.
No.
Okay, just a couple more here. Sorry, guys. My notes went away. Someone
How
can
many
be
fingers am I holding up?
Oz, are you working off a script?
I did. I wrote this down. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I won't say I'm not. Someone can be certain something is true yet still be mistaken.
Yes.
We should be satisfied with a test that can only confirm our claim.
Sorry, say that again.
We should be satisfied with a test that can only confirm our claim.
We should be satisfied with the test. No.
Okay, and then wrapping up here. Agree or disagree? Believing something that is false feels just like believing something that is true.
Correct.
And then feelings are a reliable way to discover truth.
Sometimes.
All right, and then last two. Sorry, believing something without evidence is admirable.
No.
Okay, and someone is justified in their beliefs until they are proven wrong.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then this isn't one that I wrote down, but if would you abandon a belief if you discovered reliable information that falsifies your belief?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So so I kind of wrote these down. Next time you and I come across each other, we'll kind of jump into those questions, because in my ignorant opinion, when it comes to a lot of the arguments you guys were having, I just want to get down to, like, it's all fascinating to talk about. I just want to get down to the God claim. Where the fuck is a God? You know, and get down.
Oz, can I jump in? Can I jump in on one thing, because like Otangelo, I've got the language barrier. You had one question that Otangelo answered with yes. I want to give him an example to see whether or not he wants to revise that answer. Otangelo, you answered that someone is justified to believe something until he's proven wrong. If I believe that the universe came about by universe farting pixies, I'm justified to believe that until someone proves me wrong?
Well, the thing is, if you have no evidence, then you can dismiss the claim without giving evidence.
But am I justified to believe it until I am proven wrong?
No.
Okay, so and
Okay,
you
I
said
require evidence.
that because you said yes, and I was pretty much convinced that you would have said no. So Oz, that's one you have to change then.
Okay, Otangelo, I've got a question for you. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
There is a runaway trolley barreling down the railway tracks. Ahead on the tracks, there are 5 people tied up and unable to move. The trolley is headed straight for them. You are standing some distance off in the train yard next to a lever. If you pull this lever, the trolley will switch to a different set of tracks. However, you notice that there is one person on the second set of tracks, on the side track. So you have two options. Do nothing and allow the trolley to kill the 5 people on the main track. Or pull the lever, diverting the trolley onto the other track where it will kill 1 person. So which is the more ethical option?
Just to kill one person?
I agree. But some people say that it's not like it's unethical because instead of doing nothing, you're taking action and your action directly causes a person to die. But I think that I disagree with that because it presupposes that doing nothing is not making a choice. Would you guys agree with his answer? Because
I
don't
would do
think it's.
nothing as well. I would never.
Well, Tangelo said he would pull the lever.
Right. I would stand back and put my hands behind my back and watch the train go by or the trolley, and I wouldn't touch the lever. Whatever God wants to happen will happen.
Well, that kills 5 people. So yeah, maybe God's plan is that they die.
Yeah, but
or
how do you
maybe
know there's
God.
not going to be a malfunction? And if you don't touch it, it'll go and kill 1 person anyway. How do you
Well,
know?
I wonder if praying counts as doing something. Like if I pray,
Well, if you get down on your knees, that's doing something. Praying,
Flanders
not
to God,
necessarily.
Flanders to God, get off your cloud and save my Todd. Peter, do you have an opinion? Snake, anybody?
I do
Trolley
agree,
problem?
I
I
do
think,
agree that we should focus on the God issue and nothing else.
Okay, I was just, well,
yeah, I mean,
But before I go, AJ, because
I just thought it'd be fun.
go relax. No, that particular question, it's a cool, I guess, thought experiment, but I still have never like really why a lot of people talk about. It's like I don't know what I should do or would do because it's that adrenaline gets going, your brain gets going different ways. You don't I don't think you really know in that kind of a situation how you're going to react. You know.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
think
that's a good
I
point.
think both options are technically immoral, but you have a choice of which
You have
is
3 options.
less moral.
You always have 3 options.
What's the third option?
Do nothing.
Well, that's the first option.
The first option is to do something with a lever that'll change the direction of the trolley to kill only 1 person, because as far as it's set right now to kill 5 people, that's
Right.
change the direction. So you can either do something. You can either set it to kill 1 or 5 people, which is 2 things, or you could do nothing.
Well, if you do nothing, it kills the 5 people. If you pull the lever, it transfers onto the other track and kills 1 person instead of 5. So
No, you did say it was barreling down towards the 5 people.
Yeah, it's
But
going
you
to.
didn't say, but you didn't say whether the lever is defective, and if it's set to 5 people, it's actually incorrect. There's been a mechanical, or somebody forgot something and didn't switch it correctly. So if you switch it, because it was mechanically malfunctioned, it was set to only kill the 1 person. Now you've done something, you've changed it, and it's going to go kill 5 people. Whereas if you'd have just left it alone, it would have just killed the 1 person.
Well,
we can modify. We can modify the thought experiment a little bit. Let's suppose that these 5 people were all 99 years old, close to die, and the 1 person, which is on the other track, is 20 years old and has an entire life in front of it.
Whatever you add, I'm always going to leave it alone, no matter what you say.
I have a vote. Then, if we're going to do that, potentially, we're just going to be like the God of the Old Testament. We're just going to flood everybody, and we're just going to do away with all. That's what we're going to do.
No, not everybody. We got to save at least 2 people and their children. Sorry, 2 people and their sons, or however it goes.
I wonder if the answer would change if it was 5 of your family members versus 1 of your family members, and you cared about
absolutely
everyone.
not changed. No.
We still have to save those people because we need a guy to get drunk and show people his nuts.
Yeah, I'm being very objective. I would do nothing.
and preferably on Oz's channel.
Well, I would
Also,
wear
bobblehead.
I would wear my Superman suit and go and stop the train.
Wow, you're a hero.
Yeah, well,
Artangelo.
it might be possible to switch the train and then run over and try to push the one person off of the tracks if you're fast
Well,
enough.
is this trolley coming on a flat surface, downhill, uphill? Like what's the?
It's just flat,
the angle? It's all
but
just
it's
flat.
barreling down, so it's full steam ahead.
I feel like all of a sudden we're on a trolley going nowhere.
So this started out with us trying to figure out whether or not it's a god, and it has evolved to the point where we're now on a flat Earth.
So
Yeah.
AJ, I'm,
Bloody riddle.
AJ, I'm gonna bounce out. I know the Godfathers in the atheist green room waiting to get on here, but I will jump off and leave at this. Otangelo, as we all listen on, we just need you to give evidence for God, and it not be up in the space somewhere, but something we can see, feel,
I've got a
touch.
question before you leave. I've got a question for everybody, including Artangelo. Is there anybody in this room, or anybody that you know, or anybody that discovered God, Jesus, the Christian God, before being told by somebody else that there is a Christian God? Like, who was the first person who woke up and said, nobody told me about God, but there is a God?
No, I was a Christian for 30-something
Right.
years. I was born.
Everybody heard it from somebody else.
Yeah, I was
No one
born
has
in-
actually woken up and known God. Like that type of evidence. Which, if one person does it, then everybody. If it happens to one person, it has to happen to everybody, because that's the nature of God is everywhere.
Yeah, the God concept is a
Right.
a taught thing. It's something you're taught. Yeah, I'll dip out. Let Randolph get in here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care.
Okay,
Yeah.
later, Oz.
Well, the Bible, of course, tells us that we all know God, even though we have to be taught about it.
Yeah, but the Bible is just another book written by some. It's an old book,
Sydney, I
Well,
can
yeah,
help.
and
Sydney,
it tells you. It tells you nothing.
I can help. I can help. I can also debunk Romans while I'm at it. So I was born
Okay,
into.
before you.
Now hold on.
Can
I'm
I
going
just
to
say
ask.
something?
No, I'm going to ask
Yeah,
you.
no,
a
I
question.
just want to make one. No, don't. Before you answer my question, I just want to say that Galatians, to me, is what debunks Christianity. I just want to, at some point, go back there.
Okay.
Well, actually, I want to say I don't entirely agree with the idea that everybody has to learn it from somewhere else. I do think that people are fully capable of creating these things on their own. But I think the vast majority of people do learn from others.
Let me.
The specific one that Artangelo is pushing, and Darth Dawkins pushes. And, those
Let me just answer my way. I grew up in an atheist family. I grew up in a street that, apart from one couple that I only learned on a later age, an older age, that were religious. The concept of the Christian God was completely unknown to me for at least the first decade of my life, until someone told me. So,
Well, Peter, I think that the natural world points to a creator,
no, it doesn't.
and the Bible is God's revelation of his identity.
Did you come to this conclusion, Artangelo, before somebody else told you about God?
I don't think that you need that someone tells you about God. in
I
order for
agree,
you
but I'm
to
asking you
understand
specifically. It's not a either you did or you didn't.
Would you have known about Jesus without being told that he was killed?
I was pretty clear in what I said. I said that in order to understand that the creator exists, you just have to look at the trees.
Yeah, but that
doesn't make sense.
Otangelo, what I just told you is that thought never crossed my mind. The moment that I was told that there was a God, they didn't tell me that he created everything, and the thought still didn't cross my mind, because I had no clue what this God was about. It was something, the only thing I was told was they go to church. Okay, so I knew what a church was because there was one not too far away from my house. But I had no clue of what was going on there, why people went there. I had no clue whatsoever. The whole thing, God creating something, uh, that claim first was made to me when I bumped into a Kent Hovind video. And I spent a year with a religious nut job who had created his own religion and tried to convince us that God was real. He never even mentioned creation, not once. So I can state that at least for the first 4 decades, 5 decades, I wasn't aware of that claim. And I didn't come up with it. I didn't think about it. It was never an issue for me and never an explanation. We are here, so something must have made this. Never came up, honestly.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
And
I thought.
I've heard of some tribes who have no religion whatsoever
Hmm.
and do not believe in God.
They have no God
So
concept. They have. It's worse.
Right.
yeah,
They don't
yeah,
even have
they
a
have
God
no
concept.
God concept. Hmm.
So it is.
But nonetheless, I believe as soon as you actually start to think about it, you look into the natural world, and then you start to ask philosophical questions. Then, of course, the question comes up: why does the physical natural world exist rather than not?
I
And
agree.
We
I
all do
agree.
that. We all
What
do
doesn't
that.
come up, is that there is some magical thing somewhere that created everything.
Would you allow 100,000 people to die instead of change the course of the train? Would you allow 1,000,000 people? Like, eventually, I feel like you have to concede that you should pull the lever and allow one person to die.
Well,
No.
Yeah.
the problem here with that
Guys,
is that
guys,
you're
guys!
you're
Can I jump in
you're-
real quick?
using
I don't know
you're
what
using-
happened. I got
Peter,
the, I got. The,
I'm
hold,
just trying to
hold,
answer
no,
somebody.
no, hold
I'm trying to
on.
respond to somebody.
No, this is
So
important.
I think the problem
Randolph,
is that you're
Randolph,
using
hold on.
statistics
This
to
is
try to
important.
decide,
This
you're
is
trying to use statistics to decide what to do. It's like capitalists use money
Randolph,
to decide political
Randolph,
things.
you have to give me
Yeah.
time. You have to give me time because I just got the blue screen of death. So I have to explain to the people why we were off air and we're now back on air. I'm
Okay.
sorry for
Yeah,
that.
that
I
could
have,
have
no,
We were
I
still
have
on
no
there.
I have no clue what happened, but we're back on air now.
Oh, streaming to the
Yeah, that could have waited for me to finish what I was saying to Snake.
I don't think that we went offline. I think
Yes.
because I could still hear everyone.
Yes.
It
the,
seemed
We
to
might
me.
not, we might not have been.
Did the stream go down?
the stream was down. That's what I'm trying to,
Yeah,
to
'cause
explain.
if he's using OBS to stream and he had a blue screen of death, then
Yeah.
Well, because I've been watching it on my phone and it didn't go down on my phone. I don't think.
I
But-
There's a
I
huge
checked
delay.
it. It went down. So
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
that's why I had to at least let people know what was happening. Because
Yeah, that was just coincidental. that
I'll be right back, guys.
Climbed off his ladder, came all the way to the camera to say something.
people
And you can-
may have missed part of what was happening, and this is why I interrupted Randolph, because people didn't hear him in the first place. So we need to start over and do the whole thing that you were talking
the thing
about.
with Peter, what was happening was Randolph was all the way at the end there up on his ladder, as you can tell, is banging away, and then he stepped all the way off his ladder, came all the way to the camera, and started giving his opinion on whatever was being said.
Yes,
And coincidentally, at the same time, you came back in after having reset. the
yes,
OBS.
but the problem is no one heard him except for you guys. That's why it was relevant to interrupt him, because he
I
needed to start
understand it,
over.
but he didn't know that because he was up a ladder.
Yes, yes. So we'll have to wait until he gets back. I don't know if he can hear us.
So he's climbing down. He's
But
climbing down.
That's why I interrupted. No, Randolph, no one heard you, so you have to start over again. That's why I interrupted you.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you. So, Snake, I think one of the big problem with what you're reasoning there is that you're resorting to using statistics to make an ethical decision. And
You may
that-
want to explain what Snake said, because people didn't hear that either.
Snake was talking about, as there's more and more people who potentially could die, then there comes a point where he needs to start maybe having to make a decision based on the numbers. And so using statistics only is, to me, kind of reminds me of how capitalists will use money to justify getting rid of social programs instead of making what's the right ethical, moral decision. They'll use money instead as their justification. And they don't gain trust that way. For me, with the trolley problem, it's just going to be not do anything. Of course, my own self-interest would probably end up taking over if there was a loved one on the tracks, but I'd still hate to have to make that decision.
Well, one of my questions was, what if it was loved ones on both sides of the track?
Yeah,
Would
and that's the problem.
Would you personally rather lose 5 loved ones or just one?
It's a hard. It's a really tough one because there's going to be other factors involved too. Because I'll have knowledge of my loved ones. There may be some who are nearing the end of their life and would be willing to die in place of other loved ones who are, say, younger. I don't know. There's all kinds of different things. It's a hypothetical question that I think is meant to elicit conversation and moral conversation, and possibly even expose who some of the people who make decisions only purely with statistics are. So
yeah, I think you definitely need to consider more than just the numbers, like perhaps the age or the
whatever you can. And
even if
it's
I mean,
a hard decision to make. That's
yeah.
The trolley problem is designed that way to be difficult.
Yeah.
And it really leaves out a lot of details on purpose.
And my answer, the best answer I could come up with when I first came across the trolley problem, was turn the lever halfway so the train derails.
cutting the Gordian knot.
Yeah. Well, hey, if the person presenting the trolley problem can add more conditions, as you just did, then so can I, right?
Yeah. I think often of a conundrum where you're being held at gunpoint and forced to do something unethical, or else they'll kill you or someone else. Or so what if you were being forced to shoot one person in the head, or I'll atom bomb a city?
So that's coercion, and there are other problems with that. If you participate in coercion, then your decision could be regarded as unethical as well, even though you're under duress.
Yeah,
it's not really, because you're under duress. Is it really your decision then?
But then is nature any less coercive in its effect versus an agent? I think.
Yeah,
I think you can't assign moral responsibility to nature, but I think that it can force your hand in basically the same sense.
That's why I hate it when Kent Hovind asks, like, "Oh, is it immoral when the lion kills a zebra?" It's like you can't compare human morality to nature, where animals have to kill to survive. You know, it's such a silly question.
And these kind of trolley problem kinds of questions, they're more difficult for people to answer when they know that they can't turn off their sense of empathy.
Yeah, well, it does presuppose the fact that how did you get in the situation, and like why is it up to you to pull the lever? Isn't it the people who work at the train company? Isn't it like up to them to pull it? Like technically, like it's their fault if somebody gets hurt, not yours. You're just there, you know.
Yeah. See, I'd have to consider what if I'm not operating the lever correctly because I don't have the training.
Or what if I have no arms? Do I just use my gums or like my mouth?
No, you could kick it, I guess, but I don't know if that'll work because you might have to pull something to unlock it so you can turn it anyway. Who knows?
No, I'm a quadruple amputee on a hospital bed next to the trolley. It's like the Monty Python.
I'm sure the guy teaching at Harvard would love you for this answer.
I'll be devil's advocate. If you don't have arms, just do it the way God created everything, just with your mind.
Oh, but he doesn't heal amputees. Does he assist them?
No, but he might be able to throw a lever. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Sam, you missed about a minute. That's why I so rudely interrupted Randolph when he was making a really good point. No one heard him make that point. So my apologies. This was apparently an issue with Windows. I have no clue what happened, but I need to fix it. So
Well, hey
I'll be on
Peter, I have some family stuff to do here in a second. Like I have people like coming in from the airport, so if we could wrap up the stream, like
Sure.
that would be awesome.
No
I
problem.
think we've
we'll
gone
get
for
Peter
a little
on
while,
Linux.
right?
We'll get Peter on Linux one of these days.
Yeah,
Linux, yes.
might be necessary. So yeah. So what do you want to do, AJ? Have everyone have the last word and then end the stream?
Sure, we can just go around. We can just go around the table, and it'll end with Peter, then me. So
Okay.
we start with, I guess,
We could annoy
Sydney,
we could annoy Randolph and say that he goes first because he's just climbed up on the ladder. I'm just kidding.
yeah. My layout is slightly different from how it looks on stream.
I got
Peter.
I got him off the ladder. I
Yeah.
got him off the ladder.
Yeah. I guess start with Snake. We'll go bottom up, from the bottom left to the top right, to the top left. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess. I mean, going back to kind of where we started, I do think that the explanation doesn't need an explanation. Excuse is definitely a double standard there, and just saying intelligence did something is not a model, or really, I would say it's not technically an explanation either. It's just a narrative.
I agree.
So an explanation would require explanatory power, which I guess we could talk about some other time because I don't want to drone on too long. But I think we all know what is meant by explanatory power. Part of it is kind of just the ability to make those novel predictions, and then just to touch a little bit on. I don't know. I was going to say something about DNA, how RNA can template DNA, and how there's this problem with the creationists with abiogenesis, where they assume that because a cell does something in a certain way in modern cells, that's the only way that it can happen, and it's ignoring the fact that the same chemical product, can be made from different reactants and different processes and reactions to get to the same endpoint. And just because cells today use a certain reaction does not mean that precludes all other abiotic reactions to get the same product. So that would need to be talked about. I'm sure Otangelo will cross paths very soon here about that.
And what's the name of your channel? Like, where can people find you on YouTube or on social media, or like?
Just Snake was right. I'm not on Twitter very much, but I think I'm Rational Doubter on Twitter.
That's a good idea. You should stay off of Twitter. It's a good idea. Yes, Snake has some awesome videos.
Thanks. Yeah, and then yeah, I'm working on a couple of videos. I've been a little slow lately, but I've been working on a lot of stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I guess I was trying to say one thing about the cosmological constant. If it was just set to 0, we'd actually have more life. So the fine tuning really is a bad argument for me. And then me and AJ are doing a Kent Hovind rap battle.
Oh,
so
yes.
We gotta start hyping that up soon.
Oh yes, I've been working in secret on some lyrics for that, so
yeah,
that'll be something to look forward to.
I wrote mine as Kent talking to you, so hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that because I was like, I'll have to think about this, but okay, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, so everyone gets hyped for that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I think we'll put it out as like its own video, and I can put it on my channel.
Yeah, I was looking into programs to like make a photo speak like as I talk. So maybe
Oh yeah,
Peter could help me out with that.
yeah. He would definitely be the one to talk to.
Yeah, I did find one
Okay.
thing, but it was $100. But yeah,
Yeah.
I will cede my time.
If you
Yeah.
want, if
Well,
you
just add him on Twitter if you haven't.
Okay.
Oh, Peter, were you saying something?
yeah, so there's a thing not a lot of people know about this. No, I forgot what it's called. Face Rig. It's software that'll set you back less than $15, and you can at least for 2D characters, you can make your own characters in there and have them animated through your webcam. So look into that, Snake. There are tutorials on YouTube on how to make your own characters. If you want to have Frodo talk, it's possible.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll iron out the details on that because, if you're doing lyrics for Kent, I'm not sure if you can do a good Kent impression, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can practice the
Yeah.
impressions.
Okay, do we have Otangelo in? Did somebody drop out, or is Otangelo next? Otangelo, you can go. If you're,
Yes,
yeah.
as they say many things, I don't think there is enough time to address all these points, these talking points which you talked about, Snake. But I think we have other opportunities to eventually talk about these. But I have two channels on YouTube. One is Intelligent Design Academy, the second about talk, and I have a virtual library which name is reasonandscience.catsport.com, where I collect information which I think leads to a creator as the best explanation of origins, and I believe in the Christian God. So yeah, that's basically it. And I think Atheist Junior, I understand that you were upset that I left the stream last time that I was at your channel, and I think there are people which disagree with what I do, but I think there is simply no point to keep going on a stream where you can't have good conversations and where people overtalk. But I think you are actually a good interlocutor, so I
Well,
like to be at your channel.
yeah, I have rewatched that stream, and I can see now how that sort of happened, and I'm sure that was not that wasn't I wasn't talking to you when that happened. You were talking to somebody else, and even if I moderate, I can't control other people interrupting, and in our one-on-one interactions, that I've certainly tried to give you the time that you need. So that's going forward, you're welcome back on the show. It was just like I was just gonna have like one show where I wasn't going to have you on, so that time period has passed. But Randolph, did you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So what you see me building back here is a future studio of True North Talk. It's the atheism call-in program here in Canada that will be hosted by Neil, the 604 atheist, and myself. We'll be covering just about every topic from people calling in from all over the world on just about any topic. We're going to probably steer clear of politics because that never makes anybody happy, but all the other topics are good. You can find out more about this program at www.truenorthtalk.ca, which is a sub-project of the Canadian Atheists, which you can find out more about at www.canadianatheists.ca. We're also running a campaign to see normalization of atheism in society. A special thanks in particular goes to Oz with the TART, or now the TANG network group, the Atheist Network group, TANG, because they've been promoting the Normalize Atheism campaign in very big ways, and I really greatly appreciate his efforts there and his whole group. So thank you, all of you. To find out more about Normalize Atheism, go to the website www.normalizeatheism.ca, and it explains it all there. I don't want to take up too much time because I know that you need to get going to the airport in time. Thank you very much for hosting this and having all of us on, and thank you to everybody in the chat for tuning in.
Bye,
no problem.
Randolph, and I'm looking forward to have that conversation which you promised that we would have.
Oh yeah,
About
yeah. We'll
creating.
talk about various things. I look forward to that too.
Yeah, we could probably do that on another time that I stream. I'm sure, you guys will pop up again. But Peter, did you want to say something before we sort of sign off and I shoot it in the head, as Speed says?
Yeah. Sydney fell off, so I'll do Sydney's little plug as well. I put the link to his channel in the live chat. Go check out Sydney Winston. He's a little bit aggressive. I still like him.
Yeah.
Go check him out. And yeah, AJ, I wanna thank you having me on as a guest. I always love talking to you. So I had a fun time.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, I really literally could not have done this without you. And, I just wanted to say that my new video just hit 900 views. So
Hey.
the success that I've been having on my channel, I have to attribute a good deal of that to you. But also, I've been working hard and trying to put out a lot of content. But as you said, having a high production value is always a good thing.
Yep.
If you can do it,
Yeah, it'll
And,
definitely draw in views as well. So, and I'm more than happy
yeah,
to help.
and I don't have to go pick anybody up. I'm just expecting, like, my brother's in town from the Navy, and he's picking up my niece from the airport, so they'll be back in a little bit, and I'm just gonna have some family time and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, I guess we'll just end it there, guys. But thank you for coming by and stuff, and hope we'll do it again. So
We will. Catch you later.
yeah, all right, later.
Okay. I took the hangout off there, and I'll let you know when YouTube catches up, and so you can end the stream on YouTube. And you can end it. On the YouTube page that you have up, it should have a